Right, thanks everyone again for joining us for another WKS interview podcast. This time I'm with Matt O'Brien from the band Altered Myths. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, yeah. Do you want to start off by telling us, how you personally got into music? How did it start for you?
Oh, that's a long time ago. I was about 9 or 10, and I remember we had a teacher. All the we had like a drum teacher, a vocal teacher, a guitar teacher. They all came in to school, and they all kind of formed a super group, and they did like stereophonic covers, and they did a few bits and bobs. And I remember the drummer. They all had their own little time to like show off a bit, and this drummer just went mad on this drum kit, and I was like, oh my god, this, like, I want to be able to do this. And everyone got up and cheered, and it was just like, I was like, I want to make someone feel like this. And it was so young, I didn't really know what that was. I grew up listening to my mum and dad's records, and stuff, so I didn't really have my own my own musical, I didn't really know where I fit in musically at that time. I was just listening to whatever was there. So yeah, listening to that, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I kind of started from then, and was like, I remember running home being like, Mum, I want to be a drummer. And that's, all mums want to hear that from their 10-year-old son. So yeah, I remember just that was, yeah, I was about 9 or 10, and then I remember just asking my mum for a drum kit, and she said, right, if you still like it in about a year's time, then we'll think about it, because nobody's going to just jump into the first thing they want to do. So I remember saving all my pocket money up, and then I bought my first drum kit at about 11 or 12, and then I'd never looked back.
Okay, brilliant. So how long has Altered Myths been together then?
We started in 2017 as more of an idea than it was a band. It was just kind of a, can I do this? Because I've always been a drummer, since I was 10. So I was always, well, every drummer will know, they're very happy being at the back of the room, of the stage, kind of just plodding along. All the drummer jokes are all out there. We all know them. And it got to the point where I was like, I wonder what I can do as a drummer, try and, Phil Collins it and step out on my own, go out on the front and see what else I could do, because I think I've done as much as I could do on the drum kit. So I kind of came up with this idea. I saw a band called 68, who were an amazing band from America, and I saw them. They were just two-piece. They just brought so much energy, and they kind of changed my experience of live music.
Okay.
So I was like, again, I want to do that. I'm quite influenced by just seeing things and being like, I want to try my own version of that. So I kind of said, I've never started a band. I've always joined other people's bands. I've never really written my own music. I've always just played along to other people's songs. Right. So it literally was a huge leap of faith for me to kind of go out and just go, what can I do to start something and have, I think that's why I've done so well so far, because I had no idea, and I haven't gone to the usual making music and the usual writing processes, because I don't really know what I'm doing. So it kind of just came from me, and instead of, like I said, using the usual tropes of, let's write a song first, let's write the lyrics down, what is it about, what's this? It all kind of just came together, and I'd have a riff in my head. I can't play any other instrument other than drums. So it was, let's put it together. So that's basically, I was living in Oxford at the time, so I found a guitarist. I taught myself how to sing. I've always sang in the shower, but it was let's try and put myself out there, So that's pretty much what we did. It was a two-piece, always going to be a two-piece. That was the concept. And then, 2017, we kind of just took it on from there.
Okay, brilliant. So you're still a two-piece then? So is that how that's definitely how it's going to be then for you then? Is that
I think if we ever needed a third, my idea, it wouldn't have, become what it has. So it was always going to be, it's always going to be a two-piece. Right. It was more of a concept band than anything else, and to show what you can do with very minimal. I've seen so many bands that are like 8 or 9 pieces that, that's great for them. And if that's what they want to sound like, and you've got all different sections, and that's perfect. But sometimes I think with the smaller live scene, less is more.
Yeah.
Where you don't have a huge wall of sound when you've got this 8-piece band that will need a theater or a huge arena to do all these things, where I'm still, I'm a realist. I'm still going to be playing pubs and small clubs for a while. So I kind of wanted to fill that with as much as me as I could,
Fair enough.
and kind of, and use what I had and be realistic about it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was, that was, definitely going to be.
So who would you say that your influences are musically then?
Well, I got asked this question a couple of weeks ago, and I realized that over time, all my big influences are 2-piece bands.
Okay.
I listened to Daft Punk when I was a kid, again, 2-piece. There's a band called Idiot Pilot, who are 2-piece, like electronica metal. Death from Above, 1979. They're again another 2-piece. This 68 band were 2-piece.
Right.
And I kind of was like, I realized that only recently that I was like, oh yeah, I kind of have. I've been following these bands, and kind of maybe subconsciously been taking on those ideas from that.
Right.
I'm a big love of Deftones.
Yeah.
But I think most drummers, I try not to stick to one genre. So I love, hip hop. I love R&B. I try and take everything I can, because anything that's got a good drum beat, I'm all in. And recently with singing, as I've recently started to sing, I've got a lot more acoustic, a lot more acoustic musicians to kind of take that, and instead of hiding behind the drum kit to drum and sing, kind of put myself out there a bit more and be a bit more worried and be a bit more vulnerable with singing, because I'm not always going to have that drum kit to save me as like my blanket. So that's been a really, it's made me, I've not been, worried on stage or nervous for a long time. And then I came out and was like, okay, I'm now a singer, So it really was kind of putting myself out there and being so scared, but it's been amazing the feedback I've had. Again, because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never had lessons. I kind of just do what I think I can do, and I just take it from there. And I think that's why we've done so well, because it's not your usual. That's where the name come from. It was altering the myths of the usual, your usual everyday music scene.
Wow, brilliant. So what music have you got out there now then?
So we did, sadly, COVID has put a lot of spanners in the works, but in 2018 we released our first EP called Believe, and it was a 5 tracks. It was just everything I'd written at that time. It was recorded in Oxford. Really, really proud of it. It was like the first actual studio stuff that we've released, and it got played on BBC Introducing in the local regions, which was really good, because I've never had that with any of the other bands I was in. So it kind of was like, oh, it was almost like a stamp of approval that you have, for those things. So that's got 5 tracks, and that did really well. We're on about 20,000 plays collectively on Spotify, which again, for me to have was, they're small numbers in the grand scheme of things, but they're my numbers, I put my heart and soul into this thing, and every listen for bigger bands is nothing, it's 0.01 pence of whatever, but for someone just to come up and say, thank you for that song, means so much to me, because it was from me. It was just from me,
Great.
Great. So but we do have an EP. We did a HMV live session about a year ago, and that's been put out. So we're working on stuff, but now we're just waiting for everything to open up so we can get back to recording, basically.
Okay, is that your plans then? Once we open up, is to get back in the studio then?
Yeah, definitely. Like we've kind of used this time to kind of concentrate on ourselves and like get better at our instruments, ourselves, our personal lives, just to see if this is what we want to do. I've seen a lot of bands go out there and put everything they've got into these bands, that they're in. Some bands have broken up, some bands have started, and I was just worried that anything that we put out may just fall into the COVID stream, of, we're never going to do a a lockdown session. It just wasn't in us to do that, because it would go against what we're about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So we wanted to save that time, because if we released the single last week, we would have wasted all that time not being able to play it and gain that motion of what's going on.
Right.
And it would just fall in the ocean of all the other things going on.
Okay.
So we kind of got ourselves better, and then we'll come out running at the end of this then.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We were saying earlier about the sunlight in the room that you're in. It's creating a lovely pattern. No, I quite like it, mate. But yeah, no, that's good. So, what about sort of, you say you're writing? What about writer's block? How do you deal with that then?
Well, this is how we usually go. I keep saying me, but it's not really me. It's me and my guitarist. It was a gentleman called Adam that I used to play with in Oxford, and I recently moved back down to Cardiff, which where I'm originally from. And I got one of my best friends who I've been friends with forever. We've always been in bands together. We've always bounced ideas off each other and bounced tracks off each other. So he's the best person to have, because he takes on everything, and he also gets the best out of me. So I don't know how to play guitar. So the amount of times I've sent him just a little humming note of and he'd be like, right, okay. And because they're not really notes, he has to then try and figure out what that is.
Yeah.
Which is why we get the kind of unique sound that we have. So I'll give him that. He'll kind of get some sort of, I'll get a vocal line over that. Again, I've got all my phone is just full of me walking down the streets with like a whistle in the back, or just some random lyrics that I've written down on a piece of paper, and I try and put it all together. And we actually name the songs before we write them.
Okay.
So I had all these cool ideas for the song names, and then I was like, right, okay, we'll pick that one. We got a song called Blacksmith, and I was like, right, we've called the song Blacksmith. What is it going to be about? So it's kind of like, is it literally just about being a blacksmith, or is it, what is it? I did a weekend with my brother where we did a blacksmithing course, and I kind of had that. It was such a cool word and cool idea that I went, right, okay, what do blacksmiths do? They forge stuff. So I was like, right, forging your way through stuff. So that's where it came from. So it was like, the lyric is, the blacksmith has got the key, because he's kind of made his own way into his own future, so like we are the blacksmiths of our own future. It sounds a lot deeper than it is. That's just the kind of thing we had. And I've got songs about I'll just take anything that I have. It would be like about the police, about what's going on in the news at the time. They're never really political, but it's just how I get my brain to kind of process all these things. And the writing style is still, because I've not really written anything before, the lyrics are still quite juvenile, where they like rhyme all the time. And even my, Stephen, who is my guitarist now, will always be like, you don't have to make everything rhyme. Not everything's a limerick. You don't have to come back to it later. But I feel that in pop, in pop music, you need those hooks to get people to understand, because they can almost finish the line before you even sang it.
Yeah.
Because they know what's going to come. And I think a lot of people get that. So I think that juvenile writing has worked really well for the kind of music that we do. It's kind of heavy. It's very poppy, it's very heavy, bluesy. Really, I try to do as much music as we can with what we have. There's points where people will say, is there someone else playing behind the curtain? Because they don't believe how much noise is coming out of us too, Or Brilliant. They always say, where's your third member? Or where's the other guys? Until they see us and go, right, okay, I understand now,
Right, right. Okay.
I'm interested.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've got all the music is out on the usual platforms for you guys then, Spotify and all that.
Spotify, yeah. I got a hub, so it's alteredmyths.com. So that's the general hub. So is your Twitter, your YouTube, your Spotify, everything that's on there.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's everything. You know, we have all the upcoming stuff that we do. We put videos up there. We always put some sort of Easter egg on the. We changed the Easter egg quite a few times on the website. If you click in a random place, you get a little sneak peek of something new, or like an old video that we've done before that no one's seen.
Right.
You know, again,
yeah. I'll have to check that out. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Right.
Yeah.
I can tell you if on the main screen, if anyone is going to go and check these things out, on the main screen of our website, there's 2 pillars and there's us 2 in the middle. So on the pillars somewhere, that's where you'll find your Easter egg. I'll tell you that.
Okay, fantastic. Right, final question for you, mate. Is there anybody you would like to thank for you being here musically now?
Yeah, my parents for a very, very big one, because they put up with the very many years of me playing Teenage Dirtbag by Wheatus over and over and over again, you know, just because that's what I thought it was to do these things, you know, and they were the ones that bought me my first drum kits, and they, you know, it was always like, oh, it'd be a phase, just like everything else has, you know, but this is one I stuck with, and I don't think if I didn't have that backing from them, I never would have stuck with it. You know, it got to the point where I think I was about 14 and my mum said, right, your drum kit's getting too big. You either get a bed or you have a drum kit. So that bed was straight out.
Yeah.
So I remember I had to move my bass drum every single night just to put the mattress down so I could sleep on it. I think my mum realized then, she's like, right, we've got someone either has mental issues or he's going to be a musician, you know? So, it was coming up with that. And just everyone who supported me, there's so many people that, I can name all my friends who have come and seen me at least once, where to them it might just be 20 minutes of their lives that they've taken to come out. But for me, is that support that will always be there, you know, and that's what I found was wicked with this band now. I stopped asking people, they just started turning up, which was amazing. It kind of felt like, this is right, I'm doing something right now. I've done something that they want to see and they want to support, instead of me constantly asking, oh, I'm playing tonight, oh, I'm playing, you know, I'm playing.
Brilliant.
So yeah, it's all the people who has ever just taken the time to even listen to a new song or to share something. Like people don't realize how much that helps, you know. If I put a new song up and someone shares it, that's massive. That's a massive thing. So yeah, it's all the people who are out there who have always been there for me.
Fantastic. Matt, look, thanks for giving me the interview. Brilliant, really interesting. And good luck when we get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope everything comes around soon, because I'm definitely itching for it now.
Yeah. All right, mate. Well, you take care and hopefully speak to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
Right.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Bye.